welcome back to Fast and Car Curious, and this time something a little bit bigger. And when I say little bit, I mean absolutely enormous. This is the Range Rover Autobiography, which means it's top of the range in terms of luxury and standard fittings and all that. It's also the long wheelbase, which does two things. Firstly, it makes it the size of a small village in Hampshire, and secondly, it whacks up the price to, ready, 112,000 quid, standard without ticking any options boxes. So this is a very expensive car, probably the most expensive car I've driven so far, I think, for my channel. So I'm a little bit nervous as its expense is matched by its vastness, which means parking it is a little bit scary. And also, you might notice out the windows at the moment, it's icy and snowy here in England, and that makes it even more exciting. But anyway, join me on this review where I'm going to be trying to work out if it's worth 112,000 quid. And I'll do all the usual things. I'll show you the inside and the outside of the car. The outside will take quite a long time because it'll take me an hour to walk around it probably. And we'll get some driving impressions. So let's take a look at the outside. So to the outside of the Range Rover Autobiography. Well, it's not a bad looking car. It looks great in this black or very, very dark grey colour. Xenon lights at the front. To the side, I still love those sort of gills on the side with some subtle chrome additions as well, helping to break down the bulk. Huge 21-inch wheels, standard diamond cuts, look nice. L for long wheelbase, just to make you understand what you're paying for. And the extra long door there gives it away. Extra length to give us that huge interior. Particularly like this three-quarter view. I think it's a great looking car. Despite its size, it looks excellent. And now to my obsession with powered tailgates. With the split and the seat you can sit on, that famous posh picnics thing. Sorry about all the bags. And the back here, a huge amount of controls. Electrically folding rear seats. Of course, you want to do it manually when you've got a Range Rover, goodness me, no. Powered down and a 60-40 split, making it quite versatile, and of course then powered back up again. Only the very best, of course. Looking marvellous. Pretty big boot. As you'd expect with a car this sort of size, fit everything in it. Clean all my rubbish, sorry about that. And a button there to close that lower part of the tailgate, electrically, obviously. And then, watch, a powered tow bar. I really like that. I have no need for a tow bar whatsoever in my life, but I would play with that. I know I'm a geek, I know how sad I am. I absolutely love that. It's brilliant. Close up my camera bag. Of course, it electrically folds away. Who wants to be getting your hands dirty? In all seriousness, what a great feature that is. And the remote button. Shut the lid. Soft close, pulls it in tight, looks great. And there you go, that's the outside of the Range Rover Autobiography. I think it looks wonderful, despite its enormous size. I hope you agree. Driving impressions then. So I've been driving this for a day or so now, and the first thing you notice, apart from its size, which I will keep mentioning, is how quiet it is. So I'm doing, we'll call it 70, but you know what I mean. And it's quiet. I can speak to you in a normal kind of voice, a motorway speed, and I'm cruising along, and I'm wafting. Don't really feel bumps. The air suspension is fantastic. Just glide over lumps and bumps in the road as though they're not there. which is nice. So you can drive this serenely. Of course, I've got the high up driving position, so I must be a metre off the ground, I think. and it feels that you get that, I'd have to admit, you do get that kind of imperious feeling, like hello going on. I'm sorry about that. But you also feel very safe being this high up. That might sound like a strange thing to say, but you feel like you're out of harm's way. It's a very odd feeling, but an understandable one. So I'm slowing down for the police car on the bridge. Thank you very much. So absolutely and definitely a feeling of calmness. And what I've noticed about my driving the last couple of days is I've calmed down. I'm normally a bit of a speed freak, but here I'm wafting along like I own the country. And I think Range Rovers do that too. So it's got plenty of guts, this car. It's a 4.4 V8 diesel, turbo of course, which throws out 700 Newton meters of torque and 340-ish horsepower. So despite its 2.5 metric ton weight, it'll still do the 60 in 6.6 seconds, which is damn quick for any car, especially one of this size and weight. And on the weight front, I mean, this car's the 2017 model, the 2018 came out a couple of weeks ago, so I can't drive that yet. The previous generation to this one weighed another 420 kilos. So this car's full of aluminium rather than steel, which is a huge weight saving. It's still 2.5 tons, and a lot of that's due to the sheer size of the thing. But this one is stuffed full of technology. I've had to rehearse the list in my head so I can get it across to you. But as standard, you get things like the pano roof above my head here, which is full length and brilliant. It's been raining and snowing quite a bit, so I haven't really made a lot of use of that. Lane departure, which is excellent. And a car this size, you start wandering across the lanes, you need to be told you're wandering, and it self-corrects, it steers you gently, which is very useful. I've got radar cruise, which is excellent. You remember me testing that in the Jeep Cherokee, which I loved. Another car full of technology, but you know, a third of the price of this one. Radar cruise is excellent. I've got all the usuals, you know, sat nav and all those sorts of things. I've got heated and cooled seats, rather brilliant. They're heated in the back, and also in the back, which I'll show you later on the proper review of the interior. The rear seats electrically recline as well, and also electrically fold, which is also rather brilliant. So a car full of technology. And you remember the last review I did, if you watched it, the Audi A5 Coupe had the glorious virtual cockpit. Well, this car has something close to that. The TFT screen in front of me, no physical dials. And Land Rover introduced this to the Range Rover range in 2013, I think it was. It's been around a while. Audi's kind of playing catch up. The Audi one is much nicer to look at, I have to say. So a car full of technology, 5 seats, 4 of which are basically armchairs. I took my family out in this last night, out for a meal, and we wafted our way to the local town for a meal, and they're all watching TV in the back. I'll show you that too. So yeah, handling wise, very good, very heavy because of all the technology that's in the darn thing. But who cares? I mean, it feels lovely and it goes so well. I will do some more driving shots soon. But yeah, so we have a look at the interior now. So welcome to the interior of the Range Rover Autobiography. So this is the top spec. This is above Vogue and Vogue SE, and obviously HSE. As you can see, it's rather a nice place to be. Oceans of leather everywhere, black leather. I think I prefer the lighter coloured leathers. The sort of creamy coloured leather you can get in the tan even. To lift the interior, it's a bit dark and gloomy for my personal taste. That is a personal thing. Technology everywhere, of course, which I'll explain some more about in a minute, but just have a general look around. It's a nice place to be. And we've got TFT display in front of us. So Land Rover's been doing this since 2012. Very nice. In the Sport and the full Range Rover like this one, of course. Lots of displays and things to look at, and controls on the steering wheel. The menu functions are here. Phone control, voice control, Radar cruise settings here. Radar cruise is excellent, absolutely love it. And of course, heated steering wheel. The first world, right? And all the user controls. Lovely, lovely place to be. This car comes with the panoramic roof, of course. Of course it should. 112 grand, goodness me. And it actually works. Some panoramic roofs don't actually retract. And this one does. Off it goes. Very nice it's too. Just shut that. It's a bit windy today. Now the Jaguar Land Rover infotainment system, which we're used to from seeing the F-Type reviews, this is the full one. So it's touchscreen. I get lots of things to play with. The in-control apps we'll talk about in a minute. I can adjust the seats here. I can run the massage. Yes, that's right, everybody. Oh, that's nice. Yes, turn it off so I'm not distracted. I've got a full range of displays and things I can do here. I can run all the cameras. 360 cameras in this car. I can see around myself as I'm manoeuvring. That is a brilliant feature for a car that's 5 meters long. That's right, 5 meters, everybody. But what you'll notice, and everybody moans about this, is that this is a bit slow. I think Michelle is. There we go, bit of music. There we go, Radio 2, embarrassing myself. I've got internet. I can change the ambient lighting inside the car. Let's make it blue today. There you go, it's a bit of a blue day, I'd say. Go back. Play the Bluetooth settings. Vehicle dimensions. There we go, look. Isn't that a useful thing to know? Not particularly. But I guess when you're driving up to a car park, you think, hang on, is my car going to fit in there? You can check. Tow bar. Now the in-control apps I mentioned here are very useful. You have to sort of register, which I can't do. This isn't actually my car. But I can set the car to start itself at 7 o'clock in the morning, be nice and warm when I get in, which is rather cool. Rear media controls. I can switch on the TVs in the back for my kids to play with if I want to. And on it goes. It's never ending. Full television in this car as well. You can't watch it while you're driving, of course. But when you're stationary, you can. And on it goes. I mean, seriously, so much technology in this car. But I keep telling myself, so there should be for 112 grand. Sat-nav, obviously, and telephone connections. What I would say, I'm a bit disappointed that you can Bluetooth from your phone to the car, music-wise, but the functionality is limited unless you actually plug it in under here, which is what I've had to do. I know, another first world problem, guys, but, you know, just a bit annoying. Lots of storage room here. Under here we've got a fully working fridge. Of course you have. Why wouldn't you have a fridge in your car? Which is nice. And door bins here, and another little pop-out piano black door bin there. Memory seats for passengers, and the back. Now I'm going to get in the back in a second because it's worth it. But I want you to spot the legroom. This is a proper luxury barge, ideal for chauffeuring duties, which is why they made the long wheelbase, which is what this car is. Now, if you're the passenger in the back sitting in this seat, you want even more legroom. You can just whack this button here and the seat moves forward. It's brilliant. That's brilliant. So lots and lots of technology, lots of things that are automated in here. It's lane departure systems, which I mentioned when I was driving earlier on. It steers you back on course if you wander. Lights flash in the mirrors if cars come too close to you on the side. And on it goes. I mean, the list is endless. So much technology. Some of which is critical for a car this size, I think. And that massage thing is lovely. It's still going. It's very, very good. Okay, so that's the interior. I think you'd agree that it's rather nice from the driver's seat. Let's take a look from the rear passenger seat. So I'm now chairman of the board. I'm sat in my long wheelbase Range Rover, and my good man Jives will be here soon to drive me to my board meeting. And what a place to sit. Isn't it lovely? So here we go. Rear entertainment. Now I was confused when I first saw this. I assumed they were touchscreen, but they're not. They're either controlled by the driver or little remote controls to change channel and whatever else, but the system is brilliant once you realise it's remote control based. Again, more opulent luxury in the back. These seats are absolutely lovely. Of course, the seats in the back are heated and cooled in the Autobiography, which is rather flash. Got a whole bunch of controls down here for ventilation. My own it's 4-zone climate. Obviously, why wouldn't it be? And because it's intended for chauffeur driving, I can close the sunroof myself from the back, because I'm in control, aren't I? I'm a control freak. And like I say, heated and cooled seats in the back. My own HDMI connections and USB connections to play through the screens here, so I can catch up on various things while I'm being chauffeur driven to the board meeting later on. Ha ha. And even huge door pockets. I like the look of these. I'm not sure they're actually for, you can't really get much in them. And worthy of mention is the Meridian system. If I play music through this, my video will be stopped by YouTube, but needless to say, Meridian system with 20 plus speakers and a massive subwoofer and the ability to switch between Meridian and Dolby sounds rather brilliant. And more storage down here. I've even put a water bottle in it so you can see how big it is. So, crazy amount of space, and all for only 112,000 quid. I think you'd agree the interior is lovely, but again, I would have it in a light colour to contrast the black exterior. But I can't fault it. It's absolutely stunning. It's lovely to look at.
Close my eyes and a calm descends on me. Take me with you.
Conclusion time. Well, normally I talk about all the options and things, but there aren't any for this. It's got absolutely everything on it. I think the rear screen media stuff is an option, but everything else I've talked about so far is standard. And it should be for 112,000 quid, as I keep saying to myself when I'm talking about all this cool stuff this car has. But it's a lovely car, and 112,000 quid is a lot of money. But I guess we all have to reconcile ourselves with the fact that people who buy this car, 112 grand will be like 10,000 quid to most people, I suppose. It won't be a lot of money, probably, and will be written off against tax and things like that. So I don't think, weird as it sounds, the money is an issue. So what it comes down to really is what this car is like to drive, and I guess what it'd be like to own. So driving it wise, the driving dynamics are good. The air suspension is fantastic. I have had a play with it, and it lowers itself when you park, which I think is a really cool feature. Well, it is to a sad techie git like me. But the air suspension soaks up all the bumps. You do have this sensation of wafting down the road, like I said, on this kind of imperious feeling about yourself, which is probably a bit sad when I think about it. But it's comfortable because of that suspension system. Very powerful. 700 newton meters of torque is a lot, even for a car of this size. So again, 2.5 metric tons is a very heavy load to push up the road. But when you've got a 4.4 V8 turbo diesel, not so much of a problem. So this car shifts. It really, really shifts. And it's not a sports car, let's be honest. Hang on. Bit of noise too. Bit of noise. I'm not in sport mode either. But then you ease off the throttle, and thanks to double glazed side windows and windscreen, a little bit of road noise. Very peaceful place to be. So serene, peaceful, bit of noise when you want it. Fabulous for carrying people, particularly in the back, and with this long wheelbase edition, it's a great chauffeur car as well, particularly all that connectivity in the back as well. So I conclude to say that if you have got 112,000 quid to throw around like it doesn't really matter, and you want a big car that's comfortable, then yeah, sure, of course. It's the world's premium SUV. Nothing else touches it, does it really? Yet to drive a Bentley Bentayga, but I don't want to. It's probably the ugliest car I've ever seen. Apart from that Sangyong thing from the 90s. But anyway, I would definitely buy one of these if I needed a big car of this scale and to travel around in luxury with your family and you had the money. If I get away with something a bit smaller, then perhaps the Range Rover Sport, obviously half the price is where it starts of this one, but then for 100k and a bit you have the Range Rover Sport SVR 5 litre V8, which is a monster, and I want to drive one. If anybody can get me in one, please, you know where to find me. So conclusions wise, I think it's pretty much a slam dunk. It is the luxury SUV brand for the world, isn't it, really? Buy one if you've got the money. What else can I tell you? It's fabulous. So that's it for this video. It's a short one, guys. There's no point in going on about it. I don't think it is a lovely car. I've thoroughly enjoyed driving it. Thoroughly recommend it to anybody. Please give it a like below and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I really appreciate everybody who takes those few seconds to tick the box. It really helps me get into cars like this one and to drive and share the experience with you. So thanks again for watching, everybody. Hope to see you again very soon.